Hello everyone out there in YouTube land, whenever and wherever you're watching, and welcome to another episode of Comics and Beyond. This week's show is going to be mostly about comics. I'll be showing the first the first 50 issues of my Action Comics collection, and from there on, I'll sporadically be showing more of my Superman collection. I have a long box full of all my Superman stuff, and it's a collection in progress, I guess. I mean, nobody can really have owned every single issue of Superman. But before we get to that, I have, an announcement to make and some comments on some news. First off, I might be going on a hiatus for a while. And I won't be making as many videos. I'll try to be to continue doing them, but there's a slight chance that I might not be doing anything for the next few weeks. There's gonna be some work being done at my house, and it's gonna be kind of dusty, so I won't really have that much of an easy access to my stuff, and uh, I might be losing a bit of privacy in the recording of videos. I'll try to arrange something, so keep a lookout uh, for any videos that might be coming along. Um, that might be sorry, that might be coming along, uh, but I might not be doing as many. I'll probably try to at least do the weekly pool. Um, Next up, unless the next 2 points I want to talk about. On Friday's comic book roundtable, there was a very interesting discussion about upcoming plans announced by DC. The whole weekly 5 years later has been announced. Uh, I don't know if in an official capacity, but no, the news came out. And I actually found it very interesting. At first, thought was wondering if the whole plan might be jumping ahead, 5 years from the end of Forever Evil. Uh, the weekly is called 5 years later, so at least the mini will be taking 5 years later from that point. Um, so I don't know how that's going to affect the rest of the line. I don't think they might end things or reboot um, because just by reading the solicitations for February, it seems like story arcs are either starting or continuing. So I don't know if they're going to do short things and then end it there and then just have every book, jump ahead. I think they'll be renumbering, um, like Marvel is doing. Uh, every so often, in fact, that's the other point that they were discussing about, Marvel's continually canceling series and then restarting them again with a new number one. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I don't know what their strategy is, what their thought process for that is. Um, because one of the questions I've often asked is what happened to cultivating a readership, a long-term readership. With every new number one, you might gain new readers, but you might be losing a lot of older readers. Um, you have a long-running series. You have a guaranteed readership that will follow that title. And it's true nowadays, most readers also follow certain creative teams. So if a creative team leaves a book, it's quite certain that a large number of readers might live with them. Um, but uh, it's you know to me it doesn't make too much sense because for example, I mean, if you're going to be buying a series, you're investing time, you're investing money, you're invested emotionally in the on the characters, and you want to see them grow. You know, even despite creative changes. I mean, I've gone through tons of creative changes since I started reading comics, and yes, I've skipped books because of certain creators or left books because of certain creators that I don't like. But I come back to the book um, at some point. Uh, but maybe they're trying to do something different. Maybe they wanna. I mean, it's been working for them, I guess. But if, for example, for me personally, if and I've said it before, if all new X-Men had a whole new cast of characters and they sent the original X-Men back, I might probably still continue to read the book. The most obvious thing that could happen is that at some point they send the old team back to the past, and maybe they just decide to end the series. Well, I mean, where's you might be losing a reader, so it's not as exciting to go into Marvel knowing that maybe the following year that title might end because creative reasons or business reasons, and so you get a nice little run, but you want more. I don't know. I just don't get that logic. And I also mentioned that if Marvel's so worried about getting more readers and having starting points, um, you know, jumping on points, um, I actually just said every issue should be no, a number one, and yeah, maybe every issue should have a number one in front of it, because apparently that's what Marvel's been doing. I mean, they've they've gotten out more number ones than I don't know any other company in the past few years. I mean, you know, a long running series has a bit of history to it. Uh, I mean, the logic back in the golden age was that books with higher numbers would sell more because readers would think it's been going for a long time, so it's gotta be good or something like that. There are a few titles, especially with the timeless books. I've come across some of those covers, and as you're is starting, with number four or whatever, and that's weird because there's no preceding series for that. But the thought process then was, you know, it's better to pick up a book in a higher with a higher number than with a lower number, because maybe it was more of a sure thing. Uh, I think that's what they thought. I don't know. But then number ones became hot, and but now they're becoming a bit redundant with so many number ones that Marvel's been putting out. Um, or even what's the point of canceling a series and then starting it with a new number one? I mean, if you're gonna change the creator or the tone or whatever, you should have pride in that history. With DC, when they did the whole New 52 thing, it made sense because they were restarting everything. So the most logical point was, let's restart with a number one, a new beginning, and a new beginning that didn't have to have the way of years of continuity. With Marvel, I mean, a number one is meaningless because you still have the weight of continuity. So just keep the continuity running with a long running book. It's not like you get new characters or you get new origins. Just the continuing stories, but now you got number one. So I just don't know what they're getting at. And I was saying, every book should be a number one. Yes, every book should be a jumping on point. That was the philosophy back in the old days, because first of all, distribution was spotty. So if a reader missed an issue, at least the issue they got, they knew what was going on. They got a full story, and if they're curious, they might be picking up the next issue, but you get a full story. So a reader would get the pertinent information for that book, that character, and what's been going on in that series. I started reading comics in the middle of arcs, and I never got lost with them. I showed, my first comics. I've showed those. I mean, I showed Flash 79 the other day, which was the last part of the Return of Barry Allen. It's a thick book, but the point is, I got a full story there. I got the information that I needed to know about the characters, about what had been going on in the entire arc, and I never felt lost. Same with Superman number 81. It was the origin of Cyborg Superman, the most part, while the ongoing, return of Superman was happening, throughout the reign of the Superman. So why can't they go back and do that? I mean, Marvel tries with that little previously in page, but I don't think you get too much of a satisfactory read. I mentioned it with All New X-Men number, what was it? Number 18, where it's just a big, it's up in this book, so it's incredibly decompressed, and nothing really happens except, just a lot of talking, and there's no real action in it. There's character development, sure, but you don't, when you start thinking about it, you didn't really get much. You just got a little bit just stretched out. So, I think, you know, companies should just start thinking in the sense of, let's give our readers a full story, but, still make it part of the larger arc, like they used to do. Anyways, I've been going on about this for a while, so let's get back onto the books. So I'll be starting out with this is Action Comics number 252, the Millennium Edition reprint. This is the one book that I really want to get. This would be the biggest key next to Action Comics number 1 from 1938. I've seen I mean it's not a cheap book, but I believe it might be a doable thing, you know, later on. Um, okay, so moving on. So next up is Action Comics 328. Most of you have already seen this before. I did the unboxing of it. Then we've got Action Comics 383. Action Comics number 445 with a cover by Talay McCarty. Action Comics 446. Action Comics 543. Action Comics 547. Cover by Gil Kane. Action Comics 664. Action 669. Action Comics 681. This one needs to be rebagged. Action Comics 685. This is the second print. Action Comics 686. Action 691. $6.95 with this really nice foil cover. $700. $701. $703. $706 with Supergirl. $743. $800. $811. $812. Michael Turner cover. $813. 818. Give me a second here. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. 700, 818. 826 with Captain Marvel, part of I believe it's an Eclipso arc. $827. The cover is by John Byrne, but it's a really bad looking cover there. Actually, looks more like a midget. $828. Another Byrne cover. $829. $830. $831. $832 with the Spectre. $833. $834. $835. I believe this is the first official appearance of Livewire on Thriller Comics coming from the animated show. So I believe this is her first appearance. I'm not sure if it was here or a few issues behind, but anyways, moving on. 836. $837. $838. 1 year later. $839. $840. $841. $842. $843. $844, which is the beginning of the Last Son story arc. 8:45 with Bizarro. Excuse me. 8:46. This is part 2 of Last Sun, and this is part 3. 8:40 Action Comics 846. 8:47, which is like an unofficial tie-in to Last Sun. 8:48. 8:49. 850, which actually features Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. And we get like a little look at, basically, as it says here, Superman past, present, and future. 8:51, which is part 4 of the Last Sun, and I believe this actually and it would conclude in annual number 11. Then 8:52, and those are the first sorry, they just fell, but they're okay. So those are the first 50 issues of my Action Comics run. So in a future episode, I'll show the rest of the actions plus the annuals that I have, and then we'll move on to the next one, which would be Superman. So again, a reminder. So I might not be doing this for a while, but you never know. So keep a lookout for any new videos I might be doing. I'll try to have another episode up next week. Plus, the weekly haul that I get, my weekly pull list. So thank you for watching, and until next time, keep smiling.